Okay, so you're leading a team and you want to like unlock some serious innovative potential, right? Not just, top-down stuff, but really getting everyone engaged and bringing those game-changing ideas to the table.
I like where you're going with this. It's all about tapping into that drive that people have to shape the world around them.
Yeah. We're talking about civic participation,
Yeah.
right? Things like voting, volunteering, getting involved in your community to make a difference.
Absolutely. And what's really fascinating is that the same energy, the same motivations that drive civic participation, that desire to contribute, to have a voice, to see things change, well, those can be incredibly powerful in a business setting too.
So we're saying that the same things that get people passionate about their communities can be channeled to spark innovation within our teams.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today, folks.
Our mission in this deep dive is to explore those parallels and give you some real actionable strategies you could take back to your organizations to really boost that innovation engine.
Let's kick things off with a concept that I think will resonate with all of you leaders out there, strengthening that corporate democracy, if you will.
Corporate democracy. I like that. So let's break this down.
Think about voting in an election, a fundamental right and a democracy right. It's about ensuring that everyone has a say in who leads and what direction things go in.
Right. Every vote counts in shaping the future.
Now let's bring that into the workplace. Do you have systems in place that genuinely allow every employee to contribute ideas and be a part of decision making?
We have suggestion boxes. We do brainstorming sessions. Are those kind of like the corporate equivalent of casting a vote?
I'd say they're a good starting point for sure. But think about other examples of civic participation like serving on public boards or committees.
Okay, so those are more about taking an active role in shaping policy, not just expressing an opinion, right?
Exactly. It's about having a seat at the table where decisions are being made. So how can you translate that into your company? Maybe it's setting up formal innovation committees with real decision-making power, or creating employee-led task forces to tackle specific challenges.
I'm getting this. So it's about having those formal channels where diverse voices can actually influence the direction of the company, not just offer feedback that might get lost in the shuffle.
You got it. It's about turning those opinions into concrete actions.
This is great. Now, another thing that civic participation does so well is building a sense of community and shared purpose. That feeling of working together towards a common goal.
Right, and that's something that can really supercharge innovation in the workplace, too.
So how do we cultivate that same kind of community spirit within our companies?
Well, think about it in a community. When people come together for local initiatives, a park, clean up a community garden or something like that, they build bonds, right? They feel a shared sense of ownership in the outcome.
Yeah, totally. Working together side by side makes you feel more connected.
Now apply that to your company. Are you creating opportunities for employees to collaborate on projects beyond their everyday roles? Projects that bring them together and have a real impact?
We do have things like company-wide volunteer days, and some teams organize their own events. But how do we tie that more directly to driving innovation?
That's the key. Those volunteer days are fantastic for team building and morale. But to really ignite innovation, think about designing company-wide challenges focused on a specific strategic goal.
Like a challenge to come up with a new product or solve a particular problem, the whole company working together on that.
Exactly. Or internal projects that bring together people from different departments with different expertise. Just like community projects unite people around a common cause, these initiatives can foster a strong sense of ownership and purpose, all directed towards innovation.
I see what you mean. It's about giving everyone that sense of being an internal citizen, contributing to something bigger than themselves.
Exactly. Empowering individuals to feel like they have a voice and can truly make a difference.
Which brings us to another crucial element of civic participation, that empowerment to speak up and advocate for what you believe in. How do we build that same culture of empowerment within our companies?
That's so important. Do your employees feel genuinely safe and encouraged to share their ideas, even the unconventional ones? Even if they challenge the status quo? Do they believe that their voices will be heard and taken seriously no matter their position?
That's something we're always working on.
Yeah.
We strive for an open culture. We have open door policies and regular feedback mechanisms. But is that enough to really create that psychological safety needed for truly disruptive innovation?
Those are all great steps. But think about it this way. In a civic context, contacting your elected officials is about directly communicating your concerns and advocating for what you believe in.
So we need to make sure that employees feel comfortable communicating their innovative ideas and concerns directly to leadership.
Absolutely. And that they trust that their voices will be heard without fear of negative consequences. That feeling of psychological safety is paramount for unlocking truly groundbreaking ideas.
This is really making me think. Now, another thing that civic participation does so well is mobilizing collective action to solve challenges, right? When a community faces a problem, engaged citizens come together to find solutions.
Absolutely. And that same principle can be incredibly powerful for tackling business challenges and driving innovation within companies.
So if we're facing a particularly tough problem in our company, we should be proactively seeking input and ideas from everyone across the organization.
Absolutely. Think about it: when a community confronts a pressing issue, engaged citizens rally together, they bring their diverse skills and perspectives to the table, and they come up with solutions that might never have been possible otherwise.
It's like crowdsourcing solutions, but with the added benefit of that shared purpose and commitment.
Exactly. And just like in the civic sphere, where you have passionate advocates championing causes they believe in, you want to tap into that same energy within your company.
So we need to encourage employees to become internal champions for their innovative ideas, to really push for change and challenge the norm.
Exactly. That's where those big leaps in innovation often come from.
And of course, a crucial part of effective civic participation is ensuring that a diverse range of voices are represented. How does that translate to creating a more inclusive and innovative environment within a company?
That's a fundamental principle. At its best, civic participation ensures that all voices are heard and that decisions and solutions reflect the needs and insights of everyone in the community.
Right, it's about making sure everyone has a seat at the table.
And that's equally crucial for driving innovation within a company. You need a multitude of perspectives to identify unmet needs, to challenge assumptions, and to come up with truly novel and inclusive solutions.
So just like supporting various advocacy groups and grassroots movements in a community, we need to actively encourage employee resource groups and other networks within our companies to bring those diverse viewpoints to the forefront.
Exactly. These groups often represent different lived experiences, different cultural backgrounds, which are invaluable for understanding a diverse customer base and developing innovations that truly resonate with a wider market.
Now, another thing that happens when citizens actively participate in their communities, it builds trust in those civic institutions, right?
Hmm.
How do we create that same sense of trust in company leadership and processes to encourage innovation?
That's a vital outcome. When people feel like their participation matters, it fosters trust in the system. Similarly, in a company actively involving employees in decision-making processes related to innovation, being transparent about seeking their input and showing that their contributions are valued, all of that builds trust.
It makes sense. The more people feel like they're part of the process, the more they trust it.
Exactly. So initiatives like regular town hall meetings where you openly discuss innovation strategies or establishing clear feedback loops so employees can see how their ideas are being considered, those are essential.
It's about making people feel heard and showing them that their input can actually lead to tangible changes, right?
Absolutely. And finally, let's talk about another key aspect of civic participation, that sense of responsibility for the common good. How do we instill that same sense of ownership and accountability for driving innovation within our teams?
That's an interesting connection. I think I'm starting to see where you're going with this.
Civic participation fosters a sense of responsibility for the well-being of the entire community. We want to cultivate a parallel sense of ownership for the success of innovation within the company.
So it's about encouraging employees to take initiative, to go above and beyond in contributing their ideas and effort toward achieving those big innovation goals.
You got it. It's about moving away from that mindset of just doing your assigned tasks and towards a feeling of personal responsibility for the company's future success.
And the last piece of this puzzle is that sense of continuous learning and growth, right? Engaging in civic activities often provides opportunities for people to learn new things, broaden their perspectives, and develop new skills. How does that connect to fostering a dynamic culture of innovation?
That's a key connection. An innovative company thrives on continuous learning and growth. You want to create a culture where employees are constantly encouraged to develop new skills, explore different viewpoints, and expand their knowledge base.
So we should be providing opportunities for things like workshops on new technologies, creating platforms for knowledge sharing, and maybe even encouraging participation in industry conferences and events.
Precisely. Think of it like participating in public debates and discussions. It sharpens your thinking, exposes you to new ideas, and helps you grow. That same principle applies within a company as well.
This has been an incredible conversation. It's amazing how the principles of civic engagement can be so powerfully applied to the world of business and innovation.
It's all about tapping into those fundamental human drives that desire to contribute, to have a voice, and to make a difference. When you can unleash that energy within your company, the possibilities for innovation are truly limitless.
So there you have it, folks. If you're ready to turn your work team into a powerhouse of innovation, head over to IdeaScale.com and book a demo for a free trial. Subscribe to the Innovation Brief for more insights delivered every Tuesday and Friday. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this deep dive, so be sure to leave a comment. And here's a final thought to leave you with. What if the next groundbreaking idea that could transform your company is already within your team, just waiting for the right environment to emerge?
Food for thought.
Until next time, stay curious and keep innovating.